This is the first week of October, and this reading, as well as the next couple of readings, are all going to be based around Halloween or Samhain, so get ready. I have a whole bunch of different themes I'm going to be covering, but they're all focused on spooky season. And if you're seeing this after October, that is totally okay. Whenever you come across this video, there is a message that is perfectly timed for you, so you can dive in without worry. And if this is the first time you're joining me, my name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and my own website, odessamal.com, I deliver messages to you that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So today I'm delivering guidance from Medusa. You may be familiar with Medusa from Greek mythology. She is the goddess with snakes for hair. She's also the logo used for the brand Versace. She is famous for turning people to stone with one glance. So we're gonna find out what she has to share with you guys. I have 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with this black candle. Candles like this are often used for banishing spells, and ribbons are often used for binding. And then pile number 2 is partnered with this little sage bundle. Sage, as well as many other herbs, are used for smoke clearing and used to raise the vibration of either your own auric field or your space. And then pile number 3 is partnered with black kyanite. I love this crystal. I use it every single day. It is great for protection. It will also help cut cords. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up of the cards as well as the items in just a moment, and I will see you at your pile. Hi, pile number 1, welcome back. So you picked the black candle with the purple ribbon, and in case you missed the intro, I am delivering guidance from Medusa. She is one of 3 Gorgons from Greek mythology. You, I'm sure, have seen images of a goddess with snakes for hair. That is Medusa, and she is known for turning people to stone with one look. So let's find out what messages she would like to share with you. You got the Destroyer, followed by the Comic, the Lower World, the Arrow, Transition, and there's cauliflower on this card, the number 11, which is talking about falling into alignment with your life purpose. It's a master number. There's also the symbol for Cancer, the alchemical symbol for Earth. So you may be either an Earth sign or you may have strong placements in Cancer. And cool! There's also a candle on this card that has a ribbon tied around it, which is just like the item that you picked. That is so cool. And you got Aphrodite, Siren of Water, the Fool, Ace of Wands, and final card is the Sun. Golden energy of the Sun brings fame and fortune. That is so cool. Okay, so from what these cards are telling me, I feel like you're going to be going through a major transition. This might have already started for you, or this may have been something that just recently took place. Each of you guys are going to be at a different point of this transition, but it feels to me like this is going to be one of the big shifts in this life. This is going to be something that causes you to completely redefine yourself, and for many of you, it's going to put you on the path towards your destiny, towards your life purpose. The Fool is the beginning of the journey, but this is major arcana, and major arcana is talking about big shifts in our life direction. So the Ace of Wands is also talking about that new start, a new beginning, but this the Fool along with the Ace of Wands is definitely indicating to me that it's going to be a major shift in your life, along with this arrow, which I associate with the goddess Artemis, who points the way forward. You are likely going to be either looking at yourself in a totally different light in the future, or you're going to be in an entirely different place in your life in the matter of, for some of you, months, for others of you, within the year. The goddess Aphrodite is definitely also talking about a rebirth, but a rebirth where you come into a place where you see your own beauty. But with Aphrodite coming forward, I feel like this transition, although it's going to end in a place that's really beautiful, it might be a little painful for you. Aphrodite is the goddess of love and beauty, and with the sun, this is talking about, like the card said, fame and fortune. So you may end up becoming a celebrity, or you're famous, or you find great abundance in some area of your life. This could be talking about people just seeing the light inside you, finally honoring and respecting you for what you bring to the table, or you start seeing that within yourself. But the mythology around Aphrodite is that she was born from the blood of her father Uranus. As it hit the sea, she was birthed from the sea foam. So I always see her as symbolic of great beauty coming from great pain, which actually links back for myself. I see that in Medusa as well, because in the mythology of Medusa, she was beheaded by Perseus so that he could use her Gorgon head to defeat the Kraken. And when her blood was spilled, Pegasus was born. And he is a symbol of purity and love as well. And he's also connected back to water, the divine feminine, like Venus or Aphrodite, because when he stomps his feet, springs of water are birthed from his, the stomps that he makes. And that's why I use the zebra, the winged horse, as my symbol for my business. It's linked back to this duality of light and dark and beauty coming from pain. And so I feel like you're going to be going through that transition where I think you're going to have to possibly redefine is the energy I want to say. Like, I feel like you're going to redefine who you are and how you see yourself. But through that process, you may have to sort of like dive into your own shadow and put to rest or destroy some of the false narratives that you have. The Destroyer card can be talking about a tower moment. I see this card in this particular deck as being linked to the tower in traditional tarot, where you go through this phase where you lose either your sense of identity or your ego is sort of threatened, or possibly you lose more than that. You might lose people, you might lose jobs, you might lose relationships, homes. It can be a really devastating process to go through, but it's an opportunity for you to completely start fresh, where you end up with nothing, but then you can like rise up from the ashes, and it's never a pleasant experience. And you, like I said, you might lose people from your life that you really feel connected to, and that's really painful, because I feel like if that's the case for some of you, it's like you're gonna see things clearly. There's gonna be, like with the sun, there's illumination. Like you're gonna see their motivations and see that they don't have your best interest at heart, and that could be very, very painful. Now, for others of you, you're not losing people, you're not losing jobs, you're not losing relationships. That's all solid for you. Where you're going through this transition of loss is the old way that you looked at yourself, your own shadow, the lower world, going into the depths of your own soul and looking at yourself and finding the beauty within, where maybe you felt like you weren't good enough. Maybe you didn't think you were smart enough or talented enough or pretty enough, or you weren't the right body shape, or you weren't the right skin tone, or you didn't come from the right place. All of that you're going to release, because all of that is false. Everyone on this planet is beautiful. Everyone on this planet is here for a special purpose. If any person that you talk to in your life tells you that you don't have a divine purpose, you don't have anything to offer, or there isn't a meaning behind life, especially if there are healers out there that you talk to that say, no, you don't have a special purpose here. There's nothing here for you to do. You just make the best of your life. That person hasn't gone through their own awakening. And I would highly recommend that you find another healer, because every single person on this planet has a divine purpose, is here for a reason. We are all connected to this giant spider web where every action that we take is affecting everyone else. So there is absolutely a divine purpose, a life purpose that is specifically crafted for you, by your higher self. And it's just a matter of you getting into alignment with that. And if you only take away one thing from this reading, just take that away, that you are special, you are here for a reason. But to know what that reason is, sometimes you have to face the darkness. And it can be really scary and really intimidating and really sad. Like sometimes there's memories that come up from the past and you're like, oh, I forgot that happened. Or you can get the answers to things, and start to see people around you clearly, and you realize like, oh, I had hope that one day they would awaken and they would realize how special I am and we would have this amazing relationship, and now I realize they're never going to wake up to that, they're on a different path. Maybe I'm just more mature. Maybe I just, have more love to give, but they're never going to get to where I need them to be. And I just have to either accept that or I need to completely move on. I think for many of you, there might be cord cuttings that you need to do. Cord cuttings is typically done with a candle, very similar to this, only you would use 2 candles. But it's basically energetically cutting a tie that is toxic to another person. Cord cutting does not cut positive ties. You can't cut a person out of your life, spiritually speaking, and if they're a positive influence on you. We don't have as much control over who comes in and out of our lives in that way. If they're there to help us learn something, they're gonna stay no matter what. But when it's time and it's our own pain that's keeping this person in our lives and our guides are trying to transition us away from that, cord cutting can be really, really helpful. And if you guys are interested in me doing a walkthrough, where I explain how to do that, a little mini reading or something, just let me know. Just put it in the comments and I can do a little reading for you guys on that. But you might need to transition away from someone either magically, or you might want to just, start to find your own strength, and your own voice is really coming forward. That's really, really coming forward. But I feel like you're going to go through a phase where you start to look at the things that you don't like about yourself, and you're going to be asked to find the silver lining in the situations that hurt you, or find the things that you love about yourself. Possibly even to have a sense of humor about the things that have been really painful. And it can be really hard, especially when you've gone through a lot of pain. And if there is additional aspects where it's not just your pain, but maybe it's intergenerational trauma that's been passed down from within your family or within your community, and trying to find some levity in that can almost feel like a betrayal of the pain that either you have endured or the people that you love that came before you, what they've endured. But from what I've found, it can help you to find strength. It's not a matter of divorcing yourself and just saying, okay, well, I can laugh about it. Let's just move on. It's not about that at all. It's about tapping into that joy of how am I going to find a reason to keep living? And I just got emotional there for a second. I'm being asked to share this so I can give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So when I was 25, my father passed away, and it was literally the worst time of my entire life. I had never experienced so much pain before, and my dad was like my best friend. I've still, to this day, never met somebody embodied that I connected with on the same level. It was like we were cut from the same cloth. I was part of him. He was part of me. And when he died, I was faced with a choice. I had to either decide to keep living, or I was going to be in the shadow of death for the rest of my life. And I decided that I had to find a way to make meaning of all of this. I had to find a way to have some silver lining to why he was gone. Why did I have to lose him? And I had to work really hard at that. But I came to the point of understanding that through that pain, I have been able to connect with every person that has come across my path that's also lost a parent. I understand entirely what you're going through and what you've experienced. I understand what it feels like to lose your best friend. I know what it feels like to have to go through major milestones in your life and they're not there. And I understood what it felt like to feel angry at the universe and feel like there is no justice. And if there are spiritual energies and such a thing as God, it must be an energy that's quite hateful, and have to move past that to get through that. Because through all of that pain, I learned how to live. I learned how to survive with joy in my heart. I learned how to become a light even in the darkness. And that's why I'm here. And I think that maybe that's partially why you're here as well. To be able to be the beauty that comes from great pain. And you'll take that energy into your homes and your families and in your communities, and you'll point the way forward. And we'll each do it in our own way, but through that, you're going to bring so much abundance. You know, it is going to be difficult. It will be hard, but I feel like whatever you're doing can be a ladder, is what I want to say, that helps people climb out of the lower world, possibly up to the upper world. And the lower world has many different associations. So the lower world can be talking about the underworld, which is associated in certain traditions as being associated with darkness, or being associated with the energy of Hades. But the lower world, in terms of this card, is talking about indigenous communities. And the lower world is another realm where different spiritual beings live, and where you can get knowledge. Typically, this is associated with animal totems, animal guides, and isn't a scary place, and is not at all associated with evil. And so that might be the transition that you go through, where the things that you saw as evil, all of a sudden you start to see the meaning behind it, because we live in a universe of duality. And we're working towards enlightenment. We're working to get to a place where we can see that everything happens for a reason, even the worst of it. And I'm not saying the worst of the worst isn't horrible. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. And there are so many times especially with what's going on in the world right now, you know, with the pain that I see my family, I see all of you as connected to me, my brothers and sisters, and the pain and the judgment and the death, the senseless death that is taking place. There are so many times when I'm like, why is this happening? But I know that from that, there'll be some new birth. You know, there'll be some new birth. There'll be power and strength. And that's what you're bringing into the world as well. And it might just be in your own life. It might just be in your own community. It might be much bigger. It might be on a global scale. But even if you don't see the impact, we're all connected. And I promise you, it's going to have this ripple effect that will be felt for generations. So I'd like to get a little more guidance from Medusa and find out a little bit more about this transition. Oh my God. Your reading is making me feel very, very emotional. And I don't know whether you guys have been feeling that in the energy a lot lately as well, but it feels like we're on the precipice of great change, but sometimes great change can be quite scary. So, first card that I'd like to talk about is the Five of Swords in reverse. So, this is exactly the kind of energy that I've been feeling. So, the Five of Swords in the upright is talking about conflict. This particular card has Seth. Seth is an Egyptian god who killed his brother Osiris, the sun god, and you can see Isis, the moon goddess, weeping. And it's in the reverse. So this is talking about you overcoming evil, overcoming that pain, and coming to a place where you can see the beauty all around you. You've got the King of Coins, which has the tortoise here, which is also connected back to indigenous mythology, because when the universe was all water, the tortoise allowed the universe to be built on its back, or the earth to be built on its back. It's like you're that soft place for people to land. You're where people are going to be able to plant roots and where they're going to feel safe. You're the embodiment of the Empress, and the Empress is the energy of compassion and love, but also warrior energy. She's the embodiment of all of the queens. And there are queens that are all about love and compassion in the tarot, but there are queens that are about strength and power. And you've got the Six of Wands. This is warrior energy as well. You being successful, powerful, victorious. And it's bringing you the energy of the Nine of Coins, great gratitude, fulfillment, abundance. This is going to be a little bit of a battle for you. And for some of you, you're listening to this and you're like, but I've been battling this. I've been doing this. I've been doing this for so long. You just need to hold on a little bit longer. I really feel like the end is near, is what I am being told. There are just so many energies of cycles here with the Destroyer, the Circle imagery here with the Sun. It's literally the same, that circle energy. Then the Fool being the energy of the circle because it's card number 0. And then there is this circle shape in behind the arrow. Then there is the illumination of the circle here on the King of Coins, as well as on the Empress card. You are so close to completing the cycle. You just have to hang on a little bit longer, and things are going to be so much more beautiful than you realize, right? It's going to be unexpected. I just keep hearing from great pain comes great beauty. And let's find out, when can they expect this shift and change to happen? For pile number 1, when can they move out of this energy of suffering? Oh, yes! You got a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. This is very, very soon. And not only are you going to have the conclusion of this transition take place for you, you're going to be filled with energy to charge forward. Aries is the very first sign in the astrology series. So you're going to be at the beginning of this new journey, but Aries is all about power, determination, and, you know, stubbornness, which I feel like you need that. I think that right now you might be feeling tired, like just completely drained. And when I say you're going to feel so empowered and you're going to, you know, want to charge forward, you might be thinking, but I'm exhausted, and you can't even imagine that happening. But you are going to be going through a process of renewal, and I get the sense that it isn't something that you have to do. This isn't an action on your part. You're being asked to sort of surrender to the energy and allow the universe to heal you. It's through the mythology, like Aphrodite, and it was actually her father's castration that caused the blood to be dripped, or Medusa's head being severed. It will be an unexpected period of pain that brings about this transition, you know? So it's going to be like that moment where it's like, I can't handle any more. And then all of a sudden, that's exactly what releases the energy. So this concludes your reading, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoyed these messages from Medusa. This was so powerful. You got me to the point where I almost started crying. And I am so grateful to have you guys join me so that I can deliver these messages to you. If it wasn't for you guys clicking on the video, I wouldn't even be able to access this energy. So thank you so much. I would love to know how this resonates for you guys. Please comment below. I love chatting with you. And if you like the reading, even if you don't want to comment, then please like or share and join the family. Subscribe to the channel. I mean, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of other really interesting readings this month. And if any of you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. I do tarot card readings, spiritual coaching, Reiki, as well as past life readings and spirit guide channeling, which are 2 of my most popular services. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at info@odessamall.com. So have a wonderful day, guys, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome back. So you picked the Sage bundle, and in case you missed the intro, I am delivering guidance from Medusa. And Medusa is a figure from Greek mythology. She is one of 3 Gorgon sisters. I'm sure you have seen images of a goddess with snakes for hair. That is Medusa, and she is known for being able to turn people to stone with one glance. So let's find out what she would like to share with you. You have the Hunter, the Shadow, Luminous Warrior, Beauty Way, Luck, 6 of Water, and Tefnut, the goddess Tefnut, and 5 of Swords, 4 of Wands, and finally, power symbol, cleanse, purify, protect the physical body. And there is the symbol Chuku Rei on this card, which is connected to Reiki. All right. Okay. So there's some energy coming forward that is talking about conflict with the 5 of Swords coming forward. This is indicating that you have either been going through a battle with another person, or possibly going through a battle with yourself. I get the sense that you have been battling the energy of the shadow, is what's coming forward with this shadow card. And the shadow is the parts of ourself that we reject. In some cases, our shadow is created by the judgments of others, people that we are growing up around telling us that we are flawed in some way. In some cases, our shadow is created by the judgments of our society. Society saying, you know, you don't have the right skin color, the right hair, or you're not from the right place, or you don't have the right education, or, you know, all of the judgments that are at play that keep us divided. And in some cases, it might have been internal judgments where there is marketing around us telling us that we're supposed to play a certain role or look a certain way. And whereas the shadow may have initially been created by other people, narratives that were, you know, around us, like I said, when we were young, we took over for that and we started to repeat that, like looking in the mirror and pointing out all of our flaws to ourselves, or really getting upset at ourselves every time we make any kind of mistake, glossing over our successes. You know, you write a test and you get 75% of those questions right, but you focus on the 25% that you got wrong. And there's a place for that. I mean, there's always a place to be able to self-reflect, look back, and okay, I got, you know, 25% of these questions wrong. Let's see where I went wrong. But where it's destructive is where we make ourselves feel bad for that, because there's no shame in not being good at something. There's only suffering, and it's only problematic if we use that failure as like a defining moment, so that we feel like instead of it being a mistake in that moment, it's defining us. So no longer is it we made a mistake, but we are a mistake. That's where the problem may have come in for you. And we all have to battle this. Like, the shadow has so many different faces. In some cases, it can be like a hydra, with it, which is a mythical beast that had multiple heads, and every time one head was cut off, it would turn into two heads, and it can sometimes get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until there is that breaking point. There's that moment when we are given some sort of illumination, some sort of awakening takes place for us, some piece of information comes through to us where we're allowed by spirit to sort of rise up and escape the darkness. And that's what I feel is happening. I feel like you've been in the darkness for a long time, and I feel like you are going through very soon this period where I think you're going to forgive yourself for the things that you didn't do, and also forgive yourself for the things that you did do, you know, is the energy I'm getting. Like, there may have been mistakes, harsh words possibly that you said towards another. There may have been things that you're just not proud of, but you're going to face that, own it, forgive yourself, and release it. In some cases, maybe you're even going to ask another person for, you know, forgiveness, or you're going to offer forgiveness. But that's not necessarily the important thing. It's more about releasing yourself from these self-limiting beliefs and releasing the shadow. In some cases, you may be completely severing ties with another individual, though. Part of this illumination feels like you're going to see somebody else's motivations for what they really are, and see something very clearly. Like, you're going to be able to see if someone really has your best interest at heart, or whether they've been taking advantage of your kind heart. And when that comes through, sometimes we can feel shame because, like, why did we let this happen? But you're going to move beyond that. And I'm not saying you won't feel that way. You will, but you're going to move past it relatively quickly is the energy I'm getting. And you're going to start to see the beauty all around you. Beauty physically. Maybe you're going to look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, wow, why did I believe what, all these other people were saying? Maybe you're going to maybe you're part of the group that hasn't been represented. And you're like, oh, I was spending all this time thinking that I needed to change my hair or change my skin or change this, change that. And I'm like, nah, they marketed this stuff to me and fed into my insecurities or created my own insecurities so that they would have power over me, so I wouldn't feel like I was worthy, and so they could market a whole bunch of crap to me that I don't need. And I don't need their beauty standards. I'm going to go and create my own. And you're going to find the beauty way. You're going to move towards inclusivity is the energy I'm getting. And I don't even feel like the energy that you're going to be, I just got the word wrathful. I get the energy that you're going to see the deception for what it is and find that love in your heart, release it, but not have anger necessarily. And that doesn't mean that's going to be your energy at all points. I feel like this is where you're moving towards, this luminous warrior where your vibration is very high and you see the way forward and you have compassion and love. There's strong energy here of being a warrior. Not only from the warrior card, but also with Tefnut, who is a water goddess, primordial water goddess. The earth and the sky are her children. And she has a lion head, which is a symbol of leadership and power. This hunter, the hunter card as well, having an energy of being a warrior, coming right out of the darkness. This might be a situation where all of a sudden, like a portal, some opportunity is open up for you. You find the foundation that you had been seeking and had been sort of closed off from before, because we've got this portal-like shape coming out between the Four Wands, and even the shadow has that same energy. These are two different decks, this triangular shape with this portal-like energy where you're going to be moving into the light, and it might be into the spotlight, because power symbol, the spiral, it's like you've been going around and around and around, and all of a sudden you have the power to step forward and bring illumination. Maybe you're going to be doing something with social justice. Maybe you're going to be helping others to go through this same transition and heal themselves and love themselves. Maybe you're going to be going through, oh my God, I didn't even realize this. We've got the hunter is also card number 9. And that makes me think of the wounded warrior. So there's that warrior energy again. Yeah, so I feel like you may be helping people to have a better relationship with their physical self as well, being able to ground some of these ideas into the physical. So that might mean that you're helping people to have a healthy relationship with their body, or you're starting your own fashion line with inclusive sizing, or you are creating housewares that are bringing inspiration from your own heritage, or there's something here, you're creating something. There's a lot of energy where I feel like it's grounded in the physical, but you have luck on your side. You got the luck card, and it's like you're a palette cleanser with this line. You're going to be so different, and it's like the foundation that everyone has been looking for. You have This beauty way is number 4. This is number 31, which reduces down to the number 4. This is also card number 4. So it's like you're coming from conflict, because this is 32. This is number 5. This is also card number 5. So you're coming from this energy of conflict, and you're moving towards bringing a solid foundation to more than just yourself, is the energy I'm getting. And it strongly feels like it's a gentle, loving shift. That you're, even though you have this power of this warrior, of this hunter, this authority, it feels nurturing and gentle. And it might be that you actually have the ability to help those that feel very triggered by your message hear you. And that is an art. That is so difficult, and there are so few people that do this. You can see this when you go on social media and platforms like Twitter or TikTok, where it has a lot to do with like opposing opinions, and even the algorithm is designed to get people to be triggered, that a lot of people are trying to one-up each other, and they present their arguments with anger. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for that. I honestly get so angry sometimes and triggered, and then I have to go back and I have to reflect, because I see our triggers as a signpost to where our deepest pain is. And if you can find out where your trigger is, you can heal that wound so your opponent can never use that against you. And then you can really be the luminous warrior, where you can present your opinions and stand firm, because nothing they say is going to cause you to falter. You're not going to be thrown off. Like I just get this energy that you're going to be able to fight back and create a new dialogue without it boiling down to like name calling is kind of the energy I'm getting, right? You're going to be beyond that. And like I said, so few leaders have been able to do this. Gandhi is one. Martin Luther King. Like these are people that like had so much hate thrown on them, and they kept their cool, and they were able to inspire people. And I feel like you're gonna have that energy. This is really powerful. Okay, so honestly, I didn't expect these readings to be this powerful, but the energy of Medusa I see as one of, and I talked about this in pile number 1, and I'm feeling called to talk about it now as well. So you might be coming from pile number 1. But Medusa is a very, interesting figure in Greek mythology. There's various stories about her origin, but I'm going to talk about her death because her end came at the hands of Perseus, who severed her head so he could use her snakes, which were sort of like the source of her, abilities, to be able to use her head to stop a Titan, the Kraken, so that he could turn this beast into stone. And she was seen as this monster, whereas in certain storylines, she's this figure that was brutalized and punished for being a victim. And basically what happened is Perseus severed her head, and from the blood that came from her neck, Pegasus was born, who is a symbol of beauty and illumination and seeing things from a higher perspective. And so when I think about Medusa, I always see her as a symbol, along with Pegasus, their relationship, as great beauty coming from great pain. And that's the reason why I have the zebra striped Pegasus as my symbol, because I see it as the duality of life, black and white being the two sides of the spectrum, and then Pegasus being a symbol of that illumination. And I feel like that's what's going on here as well. And these 2 readings so far, I haven't done pile number 3 yet, but I can only imagine that you guys are coming to a place where you're really going to be creating change in the world. And the core of this, like the seed that planted your ability to be able to do this, came out of the shadows. It came out of your own pain. And without your pain, you wouldn't be able to become this warrior, right? And I hope that you see that. I hope that you understand that that's the core of your strength, even though, oh my God, yes. That, wow. That is going to be something that I think that you look back on later and you have understanding of. Yeah, you might have been coming from pile number 1. There's some repeating in the cards. So the King of Coins is talking about reaching mastery level in the physical world, but this is also highlighting the, I believe that this is an Iroquois legend of the world being birthed on the back of a tortoise where there was only water, Tefnut being a symbol of water, right? And the tortoise allowed all of the creatures to create a home on the back of its shell. And so it's like you're going to be that safe haven for others. You're going to be that place where people can lay down roots and start to grow. And growing from pain, the 10 of Wands. They've been carrying heavy burdens. You've been carrying heavy burdens. But it's from these burdens, the 4 of Swords, that you are able to reach a higher level of enlightenment with the 3 of Wands. So this is talking about you. The 4 of Swords is talking about you resting and recuperating. And then the 3 of Wands is talking about you having, you know, your end goal finally come into within reach. Finally seeing your ships come in. And this particular card, I always feel like it's talking about rising up to a higher level of being, climbing the ladder. And then these 2 final cards came out before, and I shuffled all of these decks multiple times in between each of these piles, and you got the Empress, who is the embodiment of all of the queens having mastery. And then you got the 9 of Coins, which is talking about having great satisfaction, abundance, gratitude for everything that you've created and feeling fulfilled. Like there is something that you're literally creating in the physical world that I think is not only going to give you sustenance, but also feed other people. Body, mind, and soul is the energy that I'm getting, especially going back to this power symbol where it says cleanse, purify, and protect the physical body. Like some of you might be starting some sort of business that has to do with some of the themes that I've been talking about. Could potentially have something literally to do with food, because that's really coming forward over and over and over again. But healing is a major thing. I'm finding strength through your own pain, like allowing that pain to be the catalyst for you to become this warrior. And it's so powerful. So now I would like to know from Medusa when this transition is going to be taking place for you, pile number 2. When is this going to be taking place for pile number 2? Ooh. Okay, first card you've got is Show the World the Real You, Full Moon and Aquarius. So you are being asked to show the world who you really are. So if this is a situation where you haven't been represented, you know, in the media, where, you know, beauty standards aren't including you, or there's some area of life that isn't including you and your community or people that you identify with, then you may be asked to create that space. And I'll be honest with you, it will be scary. It will be intimidating. It will likely be something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. So you might be revealing something about yourself that you've been keeping hidden. I know for myself, I was not telling literally anyone other than my sister. Maybe it's the only person that knew that I had psychic abilities or any of this stuff that I was interested in. She was the only one. I literally kept it a secret from everyone because I didn't want to face their judgment. And you might have similar feelings about the things that you're passionate about, but you're being asked to step out of the shadows. And I'll tell you, like, even for myself, I keep feeling like there are certain things that I need to talk about, and there's certain things that I need to step forward and do. And I get afraid. I get afraid that the messages won't be received well, or that the people I know are going to think that I'm even nuttier than they already think I am, or that it's not going to work out, and that I'm going to put myself out there and want to do all of this good and heal and help people, and it will fall flat. Like, there's all kinds of fears that I'm constantly having to battle, but I have to have faith that it's all happening for a reason. And I feel like you're being called to do that as well, to show the world who you really are. And I just heard step by step, like maybe there's just one or two steps that you already feel like you're being called to take. And this maybe is the moment, this is the catalyst where you're getting the green light. Take those steps, do whatever it is that your heart is telling you that you need to do. Yes, be bold and make the first move. Cardinal moon, take those steps, create that platform, or apply for that job, or write that article, write that song, tell that person what you really think. Take the step. Then you got your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. So that is something that happens. It's really frustrating. I mean, even like, there are times, even tonight, where I get all ready to do a reading and I really want to do the reading and I want to get through like 4 readings in one day. And the minute I press play, my energy just drains out. And I'm like, I can't put 2 thoughts together. It's not working out. And I know that it was because I was supposed to be healing. I'm supposed to be relaxing. Today I'm supposed to be recovering from the Mercury retrograde that we just went through. And my guides told me last week that I needed to do this. And I just kept working and I kept pushing through because I feel like a responsibility to the work that I'm doing here. And I value you guys and your support. And I want you to get the messages that you need. But I'm fighting against something that, I need to be flowing with. And it can also be a test to my own, like, basic commitment, right? Like, how much do you want this? How much are you going to fight for this? And I will fight and fight and fight. And eventually there'll be a moment. Like, I had to restart this reading for you guys like 5 times. Because there just was problems or, like it just was not working. But then all of a sudden things click. And that's what you might have to endure as well. Where it's just like red light, red light, red light, green light. So you just have to keep at it. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Taurus, embody your inner bull. Because Taurus is stubborn energy, but that's because it's like, I am committed to what I know to be true. I know what I'm here to create, and you just are stubbornly, doggedly pursuing your goals. And it's going to work out for you 100%. There is just so much positive energy here and fulfillment. It's just, I think that you're just emerging from this period of rebirth or this battle, this internal battle. And so if you're feeling tired right now, that's okay. I mean, you did get the power symbol, purify the physical body. Give yourself a little time with the Four of Swords to rest and recuperate a little bit longer, and you'll know when the right time to make a move is, but you might want to just start thinking about what you want that move to be, even if you're not taking action on it. Everything starts on the energetic first. So plan it in your own mind, and then when the time is right to take action, you'll know. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. This was such a pleasure. I was not expecting the messages to be this heavy, but like I was saying before, I should have known better because I associate the energy of Medusa with like powerful change coming from pain. I would love to know how this resonated for you guys. If you want to share in the comments, that would be amazing. Or you could just like or share. Please join the family. I would love to have you if you want to subscribe to the channel. And if anyone would like to work with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, odessamal.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. I do tarot card readings, spiritual coaching, Reiki, as well as past life readings and channeling with your spirit guides. So if you have any questions, you can also email me at info@odessamal.com. I hope that you guys have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back. So you picked the black kyanite, and I want to let you know, in case you missed the intro, that I am delivering guidance from Medusa, who is one of 3 Gorgon sisters. I'm sure you've seen an image of Medusa before. She is a goddess with snakes for hair, and she can turn people to stone with one look. So let's find out what Medusa would like you to know. So you have the crone, Gnosis, Pachamama, which is like Gaia, Mother Earth, the owl, the success card, which features the astrology sign for Libra. There is the alchemical symbol for fire, the number 20, peppermint. There's also a key on that card. And then ritual, which has the symbol for earth, the symbol for Leo, it's number 10, and sweet corn as well as incense is on this card. That's interesting because this is 10 and then that one is 20. That is really cool. And then we have Ereskigal, and this is 7 of earth, and she is a goddess of the underworld, followed by the 9 of swords, then the 5 of wands, the 8 of wands, and then the earth card. Ask the element of earth for grounding, stability, and strength in times of chaos. So we've got earth here twice, as well as Gaia, Pachamama, the goddess of the earth. Okay, very interesting. So the energy that is coming forward is it feels like you are not only, see every single one of these piles, I'm not sure if any of you have watched pile 1 or 2, but every single one of these piles in these messages from Medusa have been talking about transformations and coming out of the underworld. It's the energy that's coming forward in this reading as well, but it feels like the way that you're manifesting it is in a different way. I believe that you have gone through deep pain in your life with this 9 of swords coming forward. You've gone through deep pain, sorrow, grief. It was like your worst nightmares realized. And I think that you were really conflicted within yourself. You might have been fighting yourself about your own truth and what you wanted your life to be like. This might have also been fighting with others. This can be talking about fighting within a group. And it feels to me like you've gone through some sort of shift in energy with the 8 of wands. This is fast-paced change into alignment. And it feels to me like you have been reborn. And through this rebirth process, you have gained wisdom as an elder. It feels to me from a spiritual perspective like you've had an awakening that was quite transformative, and you were tapping into information and knowledge that you're carrying forward from past lives. With the owl, this is making me think of Athena, the goddess Athena as well, because she always has an owl with her. But the owl is a symbol of wisdom, and then the crone is the wise elder, and there's also a crow or a raven on this card, which is a symbol that's associated with the Morgan, who is one of the maiden mother crone, the triple goddess. And the crow is also, or the raven is also connected with Odin. So both of these symbols are talking about wisdom, guidance, being able to see beyond the veil, having balance, being able to have strength, as well as having mercy is the word that's coming forward. And it's like you've come out of this pain and you've been reborn. You've come out of the underworld with deep compassion, empathy for others. And it's like you understand now that those that are fighting you are in a process of deep pain, and they're rejecting the rebirth and transformation that they themselves have to go through. And you have come to a place where you understand the oneness of everything. This is like major shift in energy, where you see that there is good and bad in all things, positives and negatives in all things. And you can see that even the most painful things that have ever happened to you in your life help guide you towards this great wisdom that has brought you, or will be, the key to your success. And I think that it's also allowed you to find that balance in your own life, so that you have started to have your own self-care practices or more ritual in your life. This might have been a situation where you went through a really painful tower moment, and then all of a sudden you realize that you are this spiritual being who has deep wisdom and knowledge from past lives, and you're now interested in diving into your own personal heritage, whether that's through your bloodline or whether that's through past life energy. But you can feel your own link with the heartbeat of the earth, and it feels like for some of you, you might be learning more about your own indigenous roots, or you're interested in witchcraft. I mean, that's strongly coming forward with the owl and the crone for sure. And you're now prioritizing your own healing and your own relationship with self and with spirit above everything else. And you're leaning on that relationship to give you stability. And you know that there are still going to be rough waters and times of pain in the future, but you are okay with it. You're like accepting. You're accepting that these are some of the trials that you signed up for when you agreed to come back to this world and go through these cycles. And like for some of you, what I'm talking about might be too spiritual, and it might be something that you're going to come to later on in life, or it might be a situation where you have to take what I am saying and sort of apply it to your own situation. Like if it's not a deeper relationship with spirit, it might be a deeper relationship with the things that bring you fulfillment, and a detachment from the things that cause you pain. And just understanding that, well, you know, I really would love to have a really solid relationship with my parents, but I can see that they're flawed human beings that have their own trauma and they refuse to even deal with it. So instead of me feeling sadness and deep pain at the fact that my parents don't love me the way that they should, I'm gonna love myself, and I'm going to create self-care rituals where I am doing the things that I need to do to feel whole, and I'm going to embrace my inner child, because that little person inside me deserves to have this love, and I know how to do that for myself, and I'm going to pour into that relationship, and I'm going to disconnect myself from the expectations I have of others, because I know that they'll never be able to reach me on the level I need them to, and I'm going to make peace with the fact that that's where they are, because I understand that we're all at different points of the same path. And one day, hopefully, I'm going to pray that they are able to get to a place where they also seek out that stability. Because not everyone is, and it's hard. Oh my God. Coming to terms, especially if this is a situation where it's a relationship with your parents, and you know that they harmed you, and you know that it wasn't just, like I see this a lot on TikTok, and especially with people that are younger, right? You're in your teens or you're in your 20s, and I hear a lot of criticism of the boomer generation. And boy, did they ever mess stuff up. They absolutely did. And my parents are boomers. But I also recognize that they were born to a generation of people that went through the war and not only had their youth stolen, but my grandmother would talk about what that time was like, and literally like 75% of the men from her hometown never came home. You have to think about the fact that the intergenerational trauma exists before you. And at least this is what helped me make peace with the fact that my parents also didn't meet me on the level I needed them to, not to mention that they are, spiritually speaking, at a different point on the path than me. And I was hypersensitive and could feel everything, and I had all these spiritual gifts. I'm sure it was difficult for them to relate to me, as it was difficult for me to relate to them. I was like, how did I end up in this family? Who are these people? How am I the only one that sees things through this lens? And they all seem to agree with each other, yet they're constantly in pain. And I'm like, why don't we try this other thing? And they're like, no, you're wrong. And I was suffering for so long in that energy. And eventually it got to the point where I was just like, I get it. They were traumatized by their parents. And then, even the kids that grew up and had to go through the war, like my grandparents, they were raised by Victorians who were literally, completely oppressed. Women had no rights at all. And I mean, it's just generation upon generation upon generation. And now we had to kind of make peace with that, right? We have to make peace with it. And we have to accept the fact that they may never get it. And it doesn't mean that they were right. They had a great economy. They had all of this prosperity at their fingertips, and they just perpetuated with the same system that their parents had started, with this capitalism and all this stuff that is destroying the planet and dividing us even further. But it didn't start with them, right? And so it can end with us if we make different decisions. And sometimes we just have to recognize that you're the martyr. And I believe in reincarnation. Obviously, I've been mentioning that a few times. I believe that each of us chose to come back and be here at this particular point in time to help at this pivotal shift. And you can feel it. I'm sure you guys feel my spiritual path, my pile that's connected to these energies, and you can feel it. They're not to be dramatic and sound like it's right out of the Lord of the Rings, but there is a great shadow that is rising, and you can feel it. And we have to be the light. We have to be the light that shines out, because shadows are dissolved when you shine light on them. And it's going to be a matter of us having to battle that shadow inside ourselves first, and then creating safe spaces for the people that are not ready to heal yet to come to. right? The infrastructure hasn't been set up yet for these people to come and heal with us, because we're supposed to be the guides. So we have to get motivated, and we have to mobilize, and we have to start creating the programs and writing the books and making the art and banding together, each of us, all of the healers, no matter what area of specialization you're in. It's time for you to put the key in the lock, and for all of us to start supporting each other and working together. And if you come across other healers that aren't on the same path as you, it's possible that they are part of the people that still need to be healed, right? Everyone's on a different, there's like here, right, with the 7 of earth, this sort of archway, this is talking about all the different levels of vibration and intelligence. They might be at one of these other vibratory levels and they're just not there yet. So then keep looking for the next person, the next healer, the next support that will help you, because I promise you they're out there. And it can be isolating. I definitely feel isolated sometimes doing this work, because not every healer or teacher or guide has the right, they're not motivated to do the healing or for themselves, or they don't have the right motivation. Like they may be coming from an egoic place, and that can be really defeating. But I just strongly get this sense that you guys are the seeds that are going to grow this new world. And we're gonna be the stability, because I feel connected to this group. We're gonna be the stability as the shadow grows, because I feel like the shadow is gonna get darker. Things are gonna get heavier before they get clearer. But it's designed this way. I hope that this is making sense for you guys. Yeah, I really feel like there's a sacrifice. Like I'm thinking of this crone energy again, and like the energy, I mentioned that ravens or crows are always with Odin, and Odin is a Norse god, the All-Father. The Hangman card is referencing back to his story where he hung himself from Yggdrasil, the tree of life, so that he could get the gift of foresight, and he was able to read the runes. There was sacrifice in that, because he had to give up one of his eyes. So I feel like there's going to be sacrifice that's coming from each one of us as well. So let's find out what else would Medusa like you to know. What would Medusa like you to know? Yes, this one card that is flipped up, Queen of Wands with Pele, the goddess of volcanoes. Like power. There's going to be a huge, eruption that takes place, and there may be a lot of destruction that comes along with that. I mean, there already is. We can look around at what's going on in the world, and I'm sure that you guys can recognize that this just keeps, it's like mushrooms popping up. Like the stuff that's going on with Russia and the Ukraine, and then what's going on in Iran, and what's going on in the United States, and it's growing and growing and growing. We're about to face this, and we are meant to be the stability. We are the ones that are supposed to bring order to all of this, to ground this energy so that there's some meaning, some soft place for people to land. Okay, 10 of Wands in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool, and the 5 of Wands. You got the 5 of Wands twice. That conflict, war potentially coming. I mean, more so than it already is. There is war on every level, physically with what's going on in Iran and in the Ukraine, like in Russia, like I mentioned, but I mean, war in our mind. And the 10 of Wands in reverse, it's like, there's a need for this cycle to end, but there are people that are reluctant, and you might feel reluctant to step into your role as this Queen of Wands, as this leader, because you're like, what do I know? I don't know anything. How do I know how to help any of these people? I barely have a grasp on this myself. And I definitely relate. There have been so many times where I've talked to my guides and I'm like, do I really know what I'm doing? Like, like I'm supposed to deliver this message, or I'm supposed to talk about this issue? And I'm like, can't I just stick with, what I'm already good at, what I know, like my business, right? Those services that I offer you guys. I know I'm skilled, I'm great at that, but there's more that I'm meant to do. And that it's the things that you haven't seen of me yet that terrify me. But I know that I have to keep moving forward, and that there is a great shift and change that is going to be taking place. The Fool, this is the beginning of the journey. And this features the Little Mermaid. And she made a great sacrifice. And lots of people like associate the Little Mermaid story with what Disney created, and that is not the original story. The Little Mermaid sacrificed everything of who she was. Every step that she took as she was walking on her new legs felt like a knife stabbing her in the feet. That she could never go back and see her family ever again. And this guy that she gave all of her whole life up for, this guy, he still picked another girl. Like there was a sacrifice, a great sacrifice that she made. And it feels like this, for some of you, it might have something to do with the rights of women. I definitely get that from the Little Mermaid card. But I feel like you're at the precipice of helping to make order of basically the butterfly effect and the web that's been created. Like there's an interconnectedness between all of us that is going to really become apparent in the near future. The Wheel of Fortune coming out and literally having this spider web on it. I feel like there's going to be changes and magic that's going to reveal itself, where we're really going to see how connected we are. And that might be a situation where, like this movement, like this voice, women's voices coming together from all around the globe are going to get stronger. And if that isn't your issue, it's something else. Like you're going to align with people that are in far corners of the world that you don't even know exist. So if you've been called to get online, to create a platform, to start talking about what you feel passionate about, do it. Because we're here doing this work for a reason. And the messages that are channeled to us are meant to be shared. And it can be really scary. And we can, like, I feel that. Like, I feel intimidated sometimes about sharing the things that come to me. But I feel like that's part of our journey as well, is facing our own fears and working through our own pain. So let me get some final messages so I can tell you guys when this transition is going to be taking place. Like, this is honestly, out of each pile was like crazy intense, way more intense than I thought it would be. This one is the most intense. I'm like, wow, do you see that? That was crazy. Holy. Okay, so the final guidance on when this is going to be taking place for you guys. All right, this is a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. Some of you guys might be coming from some of the other piles because there's repeating cards, and I shuffled this particular deck like 4 times. So this is coming soon, and it's going to be major alignment, like the 8 of Wands. You might be feeling scared and tired right now, but things are going to really shift very soon. Adjustments are required. 3rd quarter moon. So this might mean that there are some things that still need to come to light for you. I'm getting this pain in my jaw all of a sudden it felt like stabbing in my jaw. So this might have something to do with an expansion in your throat chakra, where you're gonna need to start practicing speaking up, maybe writing in a journal. Maybe this is some automatic writing. Maybe you want to start a TikTok. For those of you who are spiritual, start a platform. You don't have to show your face. For some reason, I just felt really guided to like show myself to you guys instead of just doing this sort of like incognito. And sometimes that makes me feel more vulnerable, but you guys have been really amazing and so supportive, and I so appreciate it. Okay, so then you got your dream needs a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. So yes, write everything down. Start figuring out what your next step might be, even if you don't know the full picture yet. What do you know? What is the one thing that you kind of feel called to do? Is it read a certain book? Maybe it's write a certain book. Maybe it is watch a certain documentary or connect with someone, collaborate with someone. Definitely take action on it. Do it. And surrender to the divine. Full moon. So, like, the spiritual energies around you are likely already telling you this is a role that you're going to have to step into. And for some of you, you might be sort of at the beginning stages. I can tell you for myself, when I was going through the major awakening, where it was like my whole life shifted and I knew that I was here for a specific reason and I knew what it was about. It felt like a, Greek mythology. I was like, I'm supposed to be doing what now? And my role is what? And I'm gonna be who? I'm like, no, that's insane. And I had imposter syndrome because I was like, no, little old me, no way. I'm just gonna be going about my life just like, like, no, that can't possibly be what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just didn't go away. And then finally, as I started to take steps towards, whatever, my destiny, I guess, it started to actually align and come, and now I'm here, right? Now, this isn't the end point, but this is way further along than I thought I was ever going to be. Like, this is not at all what I thought was going to happen at all. I didn't think that anyone would want to listen to my readings, let alone support me the way you guys have. It's been remarkable. And the connections that I have made and the support and the beautiful healers I have connected to, my God, life-changing. And I feel like that's going to happen for you too. Just surrender to what you're being asked to do and don't question it. Don't think no, I have a big head. I must be dreaming that this is who I'm supposed to be. No. No, you're likely actually selling yourself short and dreaming and thinking too small. The energy I get is quite powerful. I mean, I can't deny that with the energies of Mother Earth and then the goddess of the underworld and the crone, the wise elder, and the owl, the spiritual symbol of knowledge, and also connected back to the goddess warrior Athena, and then Pele, no, you are meant to be doing something really intense. It's just you don't believe it necessarily yet. But I just heard your time will come. So get ready, file number 3. This is exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would love to know what you guys thought. I love reading your comments, and it's always nice to connect with you guys. If you don't want to comment, you could always like or share. And if you haven't already joined the family, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to see you in the next reading. And if anyone is interested in working with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information is available there. I do tarot card readings. I do spiritual coaching, Reiki, and I also do past life Akashic Records readings and channeled sessions with your spirit guides. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at info@odessamall.com. So have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care.